Hi students, today's our topic is megasporogenesis. Before going to the megasporogenesis, let us see the types of ovules on the basis of position of the different parts. So based on the position of the different parts, how many types of ovules are there? There are 6 types of ovules are there. First one is orthotropous ovule, anatropous ovule, hemianthropous ovule, campylotropous ovule, amphitropous ovule, cercinotropous ovules. So these are the 6 types of ovules based on the position of the different parts of the ovule. So here the first type of ovule is orthotropous ovule. Orthotropous ovule. So this is a orthotropous ovule. This is a orthotropous ovule. Here, this is a ovule. This is a micropyle. This is a funicle, micropyle, funicle, and these are the integuments and nucellus and chalaza. So this is also called as orthotropous ovule. Is also called as a erect ovule. Micropyle, chalaza and funicle lying on a straight line. Micropyle, nucellus, funicle lying on the straight line. So that it is called as orthotropous ovule. Example for the orthotropous ovule is Polygonaceae and Piperaceae. Polygonaceae and Piperaceae. Polygonaceae and Piperaceae. So this is a orthotropous ovule. Coming to the anatropous ovule, it is a typical ovule. It is a typical ovule. So this is a typical ovule, anatropous ovule. In this anatropous ovule, the ovule is inverted, in which micropyle is close to the funicle. This is a funicle. The funicle is close to micropyle. So this is about the anatropous ovule. The angle of the ovule is 180 degrees. 180 degrees. The angle of the ovule is 180 degrees. 180 degrees. So funicle and micropyle is close to each other. So this is seen in the Asteraceae sunflower family. Asteraceae sunflower family. So this is a anatropous ovule. Coming to the hemianthropous ovule. Hemianthropous ovule, it is a 90 degrees ovule here. The ovular body is at right angle to the funicle. The ovular body is, this ovular body, right angle to the funicle, so that it is in T-shaped. It is in T-shaped structure. T-shaped structure. So example, primula and ranunculus. Primula and ranunculus. This is called it as a hemianthropous ovule, 90 degrees angle. It is in 90 degrees angle. It is in 90 degrees angle. This is a hemianthropous ovule. Coming to the campylotropous ovule. So the campylotropous ovule is it is a 90 to 160 degrees angle. 90 to 160 degrees angle. So here the micropyle is directed towards to the funicle. The micropyle is directed towards to the funicle. So it is called as a campylotropous ovule, 90 degrees to 160 degrees angle. Campylotropous ovule. Example, Brassica mustard family, Fabaceae beans family. Brassica mustard family, Fabaceae beans family. So this is a campylotropous ovule, 4th type of ovule. Now amphitropous ovule. The amphitropous ovule, So this is a Amphitrchopus ovule here. This is a Amphitrchopus ovule. In this Amphitrchopus ovule, both the ovular body and embryo sac is curved, and it forms horseshoe shaped structure. Ovular body and embryo sac. This is the ovular body. This is called it as an embryo sac. Is in horseshoe shaped structure. Horseshoe shaped embryo sac is formed. So this is called it as a Amphitrchopus ovule. Amphitrchopus ovule is seen in the papaver alisma. Papaver alisma. So Amphitrchopus ovule is seen in the papaver alisma. So next, the last type, Sarcinotropous ovule. Sarcinotropous ovule means here it is a 360 degrees angle of ovule. The ovular body here, the ovular body complete turn around the body of the funicle takes a complete turn around the body of the ovule. This funicle, this is the funicle. This funicle, the funicle takes complete turn around the ovular body. So this is a 360 degrees ovule, Sarcinotropic ovule. So example, Cactaceae plumbago. Cactaceae plumbago. So this is about the types of ovule based on the position of the different parts of the ovule. So this is a very important point. 1 or 2 questions may come in the NEET examination and KSET examination and some other competitive examination. Actually in NCERT it is not given. So but we have to know about this concept. So next concept is, already we discussed megasporogenesis. Megasporogenesis already that is our main topic here. So megasporogenesis, already we discussed about the microsporogenesis. Formation of the microspore from the microspore mother cell is called as a microsporogenesis. Megasporogenesis means formation of the megaspore from the megaspore mother cell. Formation of the megaspore from the megaspore mother cell. 2n condition. Megaspore is in haploid condition. So 2n condition of the megaspore mother cell is divided and form the megaspore. Inside the ovule is called as a megasporogenesis. So megaspore mother cell is a female mother cell. Megaspore is a female cell. So it is a megasporogenesis. Megasporogenesis. The megasporogenesis starts in the nucellus tissue. Nucellus tissue. So actually, so the nucellus tissue is present inside the integuments. Integument, you know that. So this is an integument. So inside the integument, what is present? This part is called as a parenchymatous nucellus tissue. Parenchymatous nucellus tissue is present. Parenchymatous nucellus tissue is present. So inside this nucellus, the megasporogenesis is taken place. So what happens here? Actually, in the nucellus tissue, which is surrounded by the integument, already we studied Orthotropous ovule. So here, so like this integuments are present. So this is a nucellus. This is a nucellus. This is a nucellus. Inside the nucellus, towards to the micropylar end. This is a micropylar end. This is a chelagel end. Towards to the micropylar end. So what is present in the hypodermal region? So there is one cell is present, archisporial cell. In the hypodermal region of the nucellus towards to the micropylar end develops an archisporial cell. This archisporial cell divides periclinally to form outer parietal cell and inner sporogenous cell. What happened? This is a nucellus tissue. This nucellus tissue at the micropylar end, one cell is present, that is called as archisporial cell. Archisporial cell. This archisporial cell divided periclinally. It is divided periclinally. Outer cell is called as, this is the innermost cell, this is the outer cell. This outer cell is called as a parietal cell. Parietal cell. The inner cell is called as a sporogenous cell. Two cells are formed. Inner cell, sporogenous cell. Outer cell, parietal cell. Parietal. Two cells are formed at the micropylar end. Then the parietal cell divides repeatedly by mitosis and add the cells to the nucellus. The parietal cell, what happened? It divides mitotically and form the tissue around the nucellus and form some cells around the nucellus. So that is the function of parietal cell. And next cell is sporogenous cell. Next cell is sporogenous cell. Sporogenous cell, the sporogenous cell function as a megaspore mother cell here. The sporogenous cell is function as a megaspore mother cell here. So this sometimes archisporial cell only directly act as a megaspore mother cell. Sometimes archisporial cell directly act as a megaspore mother cell. So sporogenous functions as a megaspore cell actually. So in the megaspore mother cell, what happened? Inside the megaspore mother cell, the reduction division means what? Meiosis division takes place to form linear tetrad of the 4 haploid megaspore. 4 haploid megaspores are formed. So the sporogenous cell is act as a megaspore mother cell. In this megaspore mother cell, the meiosis division takes place. Due to that, 4 linear cells are formed. Now this is called linear megaspore tetrad. Linear megaspore tetrad is formed. So out of these 4 megaspore tetrad, linear megaspore tetrad, only one megaspore towards to the chelagel. Only the this is a micropylar end, this is a chelagel end. Already you know that. Micropylar end. So this micropylar end cells are degenerated due to the absence of the food material, but absence of food material or non-availability of the food material. Due to that, 3 linear megaspore 3 cells of the megaspore tetrad towards to the micropylar end. Those are degenerated. And only the cell which is nearer to the chelagel end is functional, and it developed as a female gametophyte. Female gametophyte. It is developed as a female gametophyte. Female gametophyte. So that the development of the female gametophyte is called it as a monosporic development. So here from the one megaspore mother cell, only one megaspore mother cell develop as a female gametophyte. So that it is called it as a monosporic development. Monosporic development. So like that, the embryo sac of the female gametophyte is formed. Embryo sac of the female gametophyte is embryo sac is formed. So next what happened? So the megaspore now development of the female gametophyte or embryo sac development of the female gametophyte or embryo sac. How the embryo sac is formed inside the nucellus tissue? From the single megaspore mother cell, the female gametophyte or embryo sac is formed. So how it is? The megaspore is the initial cell of the female gametophyte. It is a very, very important. The megaspore is the initial cell of the female gametophyte. Here the megaspore is formed. One megaspore is formed. From this one megaspore, the entire embryo sac is formed. So that it is the initial cell to the embryo sac. The nucleus of the functional megaspore divide mitotically to form two nuclei which move to the opposite poles. So what happened here? The functional megaspore is divided mitotically and form two nuclei, not cells, these are two nuclei. Those are moved towards to the poles. Like that, first mitotic division takes place in the functional megaspore, and second mitotic division takes place in this is the first mitotic division. So after that, second mitotic division is taken place. Due to the second mitotic division, two cells at the chalazal side, two cells at the micropylar side are formed. And next, third division takes place. Four cells at the micropylar and four cells at the chalazal and at the poles of this embryo sac. Such a way, 8 cells containing one structure is formed. So here no cytoplasm is no cytoplasm is divided here. No, that means cytokinesis is absent. Only the karyokinesis is taken place. Because of that, it is called as a free nuclear division. So because of the free nuclear division, absence of the cytokinesis, 8 nuclei containing one structure is formed. So from the 8 nuclei of this, one nuclei from the micropylar side, one nuclei of the chalazal side come into the middle, and two nuclei located at the middle of the embryo sac. Then it is called as a polar nuclei. Two nuclei come into the polar middle of the cell, and then polar nuclei are situated. Remaining 2 nuclei are called polar nuclei, are situated below the egg apparatus in the large central cell. This is a large central cell. How these are formed cells? After the 8 nuclei formation, after the formation of the 8 nuclei, so cytokinesis takes place now. Because of that, this is 3 cells are formed at the micropylar end, 3 cells are formed at the chalazal end, 2 nuclei together form one cell. 2 nuclei form, this is 3 cells at the micropylar end, 3 cells at the chalazal end, 1 cell in middle of the embryo sac that contain the 2 nuclei. Those are called the polar nuclei. So that this polar nuclei is in 2n condition. The cells which are at the micropylar end, middle one is egg. The surrounding cells are synergids. The cells which are surrounded towards the micropylar end, the middle one is egg. The surrounding cells are called as a synergids. So these are all cells. 3 cells are in haploid condition because these are formed by the meiosis process. The middle cell contain, the central cell contain the 2 polar nuclei. This is in 2n condition. The chalazal side 3 cells are present. These are called as antipodals. So like that, 8 cell containing 7 cell containing 8 nucleated embryo sac is formed after the complete development of the female gametophyte. So here these 3 cells which are present at the micropylar end, that is called as egg apparatus. So this egg apparatus contains This egg apparatus contain egg and two synergids. Egg and two synergids. Such a way, the embryo sac is formed in the gynoecium. So embryo sac is formed. After that, the pollination takes place. Finally, the next process of the fertilization and everything is taken place in the flower. So this is about today's class. Thank you.